Halo, Miss. Suara dengar kah, Miss? Testing, testing. Takut sih dengar suara.
Tes.
Suara sih dengar, sangat. Wah, dapat mikrofon. Tapi mic-nya dengarkan. Oke. Jap. Kenapa? Kenapa, Miss? Kenapa? Auto. Tuh. Bergema? Hai? Ini mau tutup nih, tutup auto apa? Auto translate. Miss punya tuh terus translate gila. Auto translate. Halo. Ini me? Kenapa apa? Okay, after 15 make sure start 5 minutes. Okay. After 15 make sure. Miss bagi masa 5 menit, Jap. Testing. Simpan beat. Oke. Saya salah semua. Halo guys, welcome back to my podcast guys. Hari ini. Oke. Ready kah? Ready kah? Oke. Siap ya. Saya punya soalan. Jawab, Miss.
Belum cukup orang.
Tuh 15 dah. Oke. Jom. Ready ya? Oke. We going to start, Miss? Hello. Oke, starting. Oke, starting. Good evening to our fellow viewers and fellow lecturer that is viewing our podcast today. So today we are going to talk about the ethical dilemma of laws versus ethics, and we have constructed an hypothetical problem, which is the red card system when classroom discipline goes too far. So it is a hypothetical case created for academic purposes only, and it is set in fictional Malaysian secondary school. So moving on to the details about the case, which is it focuses on the relationship between teacher authority, student discipline, and student dignity. So for the first character, which is Miss Nadia, she is a Form 4 teacher and is responsible for a class of 32 students. And then our second character, which is, I'm sorry. So the teacher Nadia's characteristic is strict but organized, and she believes that good discipline is necessary for effective student learning. And then The red card system. It is introduced by Miss Nadia to her classroom, which is students will receive positive marks for good action. For example, completing homework, participating in lessons, and coming to classes early. But students will receive red cards when they are breaking classroom rules. For example, arriving late, talking while teacher is explaining, and failure to complete their homeworks. The system works initially because students understand and they can follow the rules and they know the consequences of not following it. But the situation changed when a student named Daniel has received several red cards. So for Daniel, he is not disruptive, but he just arrives late, mm, late regularly, and what a viewer, bro. And so Miss Nadia assumes Daniel is an irresponsible without asking why. But the actual reason that Daniel is coming late to school is actually he waits for another family members to come fetch his younger sibling to school. That is the reason. And after Daniel receives a number of red cards, Miss Nadia introduces a new addition to the system, which is students with 5 or more red cards will be placed on discipline list, which is their names will be written in front of the classroom for everyone to see. And then Daniel's name remains there for weeks and he's embarrassed, of course. And then classmates naturally begins to call Daniel as a problem student, begins to call his names, and Daniel becomes quieter in class, less confident, and less willing to volunteer to answer questions in class. He is not normally like this because before the system is introduced, he is actually a very active person in class. The situation got worse when Daniel Glad is late again. Miss Nadia is frustrated and disallowed him to participate the upcoming classroom activity. He tries to explain, but he is like Miss Nadia brushes it off as an excuse. And then here comes the important character, which is Mr. Hakim, senior assistant responsible for student affair, and Daniel's mother, which will explain their family's responsibility. So Daniel Mothers contacts the school. Mr. Hakim reviews the situation. And then that is the story. Now let's look at the ethical issues involved. So starting with Miss Clara, can you give me the ethical issues that is involved, please?
So, there are several ethical issues that happen in Daniel's situation. One of one of it is fairness. So,
Dekat lagi. Suara dekat lagi.
oh, okay, okay, sorry. So there are several ethical issues, and I would like to add one point for these ethical issues, which is fairness. So basically, Miss Nadia. All right, sorry. So basically, Miss Nadia says that Miss Nadia got upset because of Daniel's behavior where he arrives late to class. But actually, he has genuine reason. The genuine reason is because Daniel has to wait for his siblings so that they can go to school together. Okay, so in this situation, fairness is the most important thing. So the ethical issues about fairness is the most important things, but Miss Nadia does not think about to be fair with Daniel and ask what happens. So, in result, Miss Nadia treat Daniel with impartially and choose to ignore him. So, do you have any ideas of ethical issues? All right. Like,
Okay.
Hello, testing. Good evening, everyone. So, I would like to discuss about the next ethical issue. In this case, it's about proportionality. What I mean by proportionality is that the punishment should, the punishment given by Miss Nadia or even any other teachers, it should match the behaviors of the students. So basically, what Miss Nadia has given Daniel is considered unethical. Why? Because stopping Daniel from joining classroom activities is considered too mean or too harsh. Because regardless of the teacher's emotions, even when the teacher is angry, it shouldn't be the cause of the students' lack of participation inside the classroom. So yeah, personally, I think that this punishment given by Miss Nadia is a bit too harsh. So yeah, any other ideas?
So I totally agree with Clara and Fahrin point. And in my opinion, teachers should have a professional judgment every time they want to decide a punishment for a student who make a mistake, because they shouldn't simply follow a punishment system automatically without looking at the situation and think about the consequences to the students. Because if the teacher give a harsh punishment to the students, it could affect the self confidence, and even sometimes if the teachers go too far by about giving the punishment, it could affect their health and so on. So anyone want to add on?
Okay, what an interesting answers that you got. And I truly agree with you all. And now let's move on to the next point, which is professional responsibility. So who want to talk about it first? Okay. What's on your mind?
okay. So in my mind, right now, what should a professional teacher do? So first, a professional teacher must maintain discipline because teachers are responsible for students' discipline. So they should consider about students' behavior, their issues, and also what happens to them if they don't come to school. So it is according to Surat Pekeliling Iktisas Bilangan 10 2001, which refers to teachers should responsible for students' discipline in order to maintain a good wait. So in from this Surat Pekeliling Iktisas Bilangan 10 2001, teachers are responsible for students' discipline because they are the educators that should guide students truly until they become successful in the future. So, can I ask you guys, like, how does a professional teacher do to make sure that the students are able to obey to the teacher's rules? All right.
Okay, Thank you so much, Clara. So, hello, testing. So, personally, for me, as a future educator, as all of us here, um, as a professional teacher, in order to make the students obey you, you should be able to not only communicate with the students, but also you need to communicate with their parents as well. So in this case, Miss Nadia, instead of harshly punishing Daniel, she should be also communicating with his parents. And yeah, if she cannot communicate with his parents, sorry. Okay, sorry. So if she cannot, let's say, communicate face to face with his parents, then maybe she could be messaging his parents through WhatsApp or email or something, and it can help to understand Daniel's situation better rather than just punishing him blindly and displaying his name on the chart every week. So yeah. Anyone else?
You have to talk. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for both of you. In my opinion, the teachers should know the difference between discipline and humiliation. Because as we know, the goal of discipline is to improve student behavior and guide them towards a better way, not to humiliate them. When you humiliate them, you make them feel ashamed and they become lost confidence and so on.
Thank you guys for the wonderful answers. And now, let's move on to the legal considerations, shall we? And for Clara, I have a question. What do you think the legal considerations are? And what quote unquote acta is kind of involved in this case? Can you give briefly about it?
All right, so let's talk about laws. Teachers have authority to manage student discipline, but it was limited. In Malaysia, teachers needs to exercise disciplinary authority within boundaries um, in terms of education system. And why it is limited? Because educate students, because the teachers need to educate students to shape into a good person and also a person with good education, but not causing harm to them based on physically and mentally. So according, yes.
What about the laws that is connected with this case?
So it was the same that I mentioned just now. It's about Surat Pekeliling Iktisas Bilangan 10 2001, which refers to teachers are responsible for students' discipline. This is really important for the teachers to make sure that the students can maintain a good maintain a good physical health and also mentally, and this will help the students to understand better about the teacher's purpose to make them I mean teachers are the important roles to students because the students needs more guidance from them, and when the teachers are able to discipline the students will respect the teachers. And that is my answer. Thank you.
So, anyone have any other ethical loss? You? Okay. Ethical loss, my bad. Loss.
Okay, so thank you, Clara. And I would like to add another act for this issue, which is from the Malaysian Education Act 1996, Act 550, Section 135, which states that there is no, sorry, no, there will be, how to say?
Or just if you need to use Malaysia, just say quote unquote.
Okay, so it quotes that um, penalti am bagi kesalahan yang tiada penalti khusus. So basically, if there is no a specific penalty for the unethical behavior, there will be just a regular penalty for it. And then I will also like to quote Clara for mentioning the Surat Pekeliling, which states that teachers should be responsible for the students' discipline. I agree on that because with this act or law, it encourages preventive, educational, corrective, and also punitive approaches for the teachers to be able to handle the students' disciplinary issues outside and especially inside the classrooms. So, does anyone have any other ideas or no?
Okay. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is um, the consequence if teachers ignores this. Can you all give me just a brief example of consequence that may be happening if this happen? For example, I think the consequence if teachers ignores these laws are students are maybe feeling embarrassed, stressed, or lose confidence. And starting with you.
Hello? Yes. So the consequences for teachers that ignores responsibilities is they may have faced professional consequences if against school procedures. If teachers ignores responsibilities that they should do in schools, the government will take actions what based on types of they do that broke the school rules.
So, a question from Miss Josesita Jani. Hi teachers, if you need to create a new law or legislation under the act you have chosen, what law would you implement for this case? For me, I think the law that I will implement for this case is the law of um, the law of give me a moment. Which is and okay, I've chosen what law you implement. New law. I would create a new law that will be that will that apa tuh? Memerlukan. I will create a law that requires the teacher to make a background check first on the students before doing the punishments to make the punishments fair and reasonable. Does that answer your question? Viewer Josezita, Miss Josezita? Okay. My friend Farin would like to give his opinions too.
Okay, so if it was up to me, I would probably implement a new law which requires um, which also requires the teachers to sorry, give me a moment, please. So basically, my answer is the same as Gerald Beck's, because lately the punishments that the teachers have given are very unfair. So, in order to keep it fair and square, I think this new rule should be implemented inside the classroom and also outside the classroom.
Okay, that's on. So, moving on to our next topic, which is the solution. Okay, solution. So now I want to ask Miss Gabriela about the solutions. What do you have in mind?
So, in my perspective, Miss Nadia could have used more supportive approach to this issue to this issue about Daniels.
Can you repeat
Oh,
the solutions for
oh,
the
oh.
case?
Um, 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 um. Sorry. In my perspective, Miss Nadia could have talked to Daniel, talked to Daniel privately instead of um, accusing him, assuming the bad things about him. Like she listened to his explanation and encourage him in class.
So I literally agree with Gabriela's. Okay, so I sorry, sorry. All right, let's continue. So I agree with Gabriela's opinion. Okay, is it Miss?
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, it's okay, just
Okay, teruskan ya, teruskan ya.
Terus kerja.
Okay. So the next one is I would like to add a point where the next solution is Miss Nadia should communicate with Daniel's parents because only Daniel's parents who knows what happens to Daniel and what cause of the lateness. What cause of what causes that makes Daniel come late to school. So about Daniel's case, do you have all of you have any solutions for these ethical issues? All right.
so hello. So for the next solution, I would like to add that she should stop displaying the students' names on the chart because by doing this, she is embarrassing the students, and she should also use a more supportive approach. For instance, if Daniel or other students improve their attendance inside the classroom, then she should be more supportive about it, and then this could be this could be the motivation for them to come to school even more. So yes, that's all from me. Anyone else?
May I add it? For solution, one of the things that the schools can do is they can review Daniel's disciplinary record, yes, and check if the red cards were appropriate. So to say, check if the previous red cards are even valid or not. Thank you. And now, do you have any points? No. Okay. Now let's move on to how to prevent this. Okay, starting with me, I think teachers should talk to students privately rather than embarrassing them in front of the class or in front of everybody, because this will make the situation more more easier to control, and it will be calmer to discuss it in private without bringing any major major pihak pihak may
No, no, no.
without bringing major, like, how can I say this? No, 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 no. Major people like our families and the schools higher ups. And then anybody wanna add? Let's start with Gabriela. Okay.
As for me, I think that school management should provide teachers with training about ethical classroom management so that they can strengthen their understanding of the classroom management, ethical decision making, and so on, so they um, won't make such mistake as in punish a student without talking to them and so on. Anyone want to add?
All right, I would like to add that how can school prevent similar problems that happened earlier? So teachers should reflect after making disciplinary decisions. Was it fair for the teachers to punish the students without knowing the reason why they do, like, for example, why they came late to school, or why they are doing this kind of ethical problem? So did it help the students by by making disciplinary decisions? Like, is it fair for the students to accept the actions that the teachers will give to them? And yeah, I'm going to pass to Farin. Yeah.
So another prevention method is for the schools to provide teachers with proper training about ethical classroom management so that the teachers would be able to handle the increasing of disciplinary issues better, and then yeah, to balance the punishment with ethics. So Jerobek, do you have anything to say?
On the solutions?
Yeah. No, prevention.
Prevention. My bad, my bad. I don't think I have anything to say other than teachers should talk to students privately. Yeah. Like my first point. What is the question just now?
How about which? How about the reflection? Yeah.
So about the reflection, I personally think that teacher authority comes with great responsibility. Just like in Spider-Man, Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. In education terms, teacher authority comes with responsibility. And teachers need to use the authority carefully in order to make learning grounds, as I mean, like schools and all that, as a safer place. And anyone want to add?
Me.
You?
Okay.
Okay.
So, as for my personal reflection, I think that teachers can be strict, but they should still respect the students. I believe that most of us have met teachers that are firm and strict, but are also very respectful. So those kind of teachers are very respectable for us. And other than that, I think that discipline can be taught without humiliation. So
Humiliation.
yeah, without humiliating the students.
Humiliating.
Yeah. So anyone else wanna add? Okay.
So I agree with Farin's point where it says that uh, what is it just now? Sorry. Okay. All right. It's important for the teachers should be respectfully understand the students' situations. And the next one is fairness and empathy are important by meaning that teachers should not judge the students without asking or without thinking why they are do what happened to them. And I don't have much idea, so I'm going to pass to Gabriela. Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry. So, as, as for me, professionalism is more than just teaching. It is also about making responsible decision and protecting students' dignity. So, as we mentioned earlier, that the teachers can give punishment to the students, but they also need to decide properly so that it will not end up as something worse, such as the publicly humiliate the student, embarrass them, that cause the student to lose confidence, to have a bad mental health, and they don't have the interest to study and going to school. That's all from me.
Okay, guys, to wrap it up, the conclusion is teachers should always use their authorities wisely and make sure to give out discipline, not just as punishments, but also as guiding and motivations. And yeah, that's the end of the podcast today.
So thank you. Thank you guys for joining us and tuning in. Thank you.
Bye. Masih ya. Wow, macam kenal speaker ya. Speaker, mic bot. Eh,
Maksud
mic,
andai.
bro.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.